Hello everybody, Ken here. Welcome back to Magic Duels Origins. We're going to dive right back in where we left off with Nissa's campaign. Now last time we encountered the Eldrazi, we encountered Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, on the plane of Zendikar, and its overwhelming power ignited Nissa's Planeswalker Spark, and she travelled to Lorwyn. Your first planeswalk brings you to Lorwyn. You can't shake the image of the horror in the mountain. You encounter an elf named Dwynen, who tells you their home is threatened. Inspired to help defend your elvish cousins, you join them on a hunt. So it looks like they're hunting these little chaps, these boggarts, who are causing trouble for the elves. Boom, and here's our hand. Three lands, that's okay. We've got a 3 mana, a 4 mana. This thing, power and toughness equal to the number of forests you control plus the number of tree folk. Well, it's a tree folk itself, so I imagine it will always be at least a 1/1. Target creature gets +5/+5 and gains trample. We've seen that before. And the Wild Instincts is the one that lets us fight another creature. This is okay. We've got 3 lands and something we can play on turn 3. I guess we can keep it. It's not the most exciting hand, but hopefully we'll draw something good along the way. I always like to have some ramp effects to let me play out some land quickly. Remember from last time, ramp is one of green's favourite things to do, and it involves putting extra lands into play or playing creatures who can generate mana themselves, so that you can put out your big stompy creatures as quickly as possible, which green loves to do, and green kind of excels at having these expensive beefy creatures. Oh, so that's interesting. So we can see the size of this in our hand already. So look, see, it's already a 2/2 because we've played 2 lands. Face Vaulter, 1/1. You can sacrifice a goblin, presumably including itself, although that's not much use, to pump it up. So you can sacrifice a goblin, give it +2/+2. So I guess it like stomps off someone's head and gets more attack. These are black goblins, these boggarts. So goblins really love to sacrifice each other and stuff for bonus effects. We'll play this one first. It's 2/2 because it has the potential to gain us some life back, because every time we play a land we gain 2 life, and that works anyway. So if we play one from our library with a card that lets us put land into play straight from our library, then that works. Okay, interesting. So playing the Face Vaulter, could attack and pump it up, decides not to, which is probably good for us. And do we want to play this 4/4? I guess we could for now. There's not really any reason not to. The alternative would be to kill one of the 1/1s. That almost might be worthwhile. Reason being is that then it can't block sacrifice. So I think maybe we'll actually do that, even though it's not the most powerful of moves. Now we can attack, and there's nothing this lowly 1/1 can do. We can be aggressive here. We've got 5 cards in hand, the opponent's only got 3. We've got land and we've got creatures we can play. So let's try and gain some board control early, so that we can push our advantage going forward. Doesn't seem like the opponent had a ton of stuff to play. Looks like they're short of land. Boggart Loggers. You can sacrifice it to destroy target tree folk or forest. Man, that's a real hard counter to our Dauntless Dowerbark. Do we want to deal with that thing? But okay, this is a pretty interesting setup we've got. I think we can play 2 creatures here. That's probably the way to go. Play the Nissa's Chosen and play the Hitchclaw Recluse. Fantastic. And I think we'll attack with this 2/2 because if the 2/1 blocks it and we trade, That's actually okay because it means that we can play our Dower Bark next turn. Okay. Fantastic. Kind of forced into that. We don't really need to gain the life right now because we've got the board presence. Oh, it's a red-black deck. Okay, that's real interesting. So not only were they mana screwed by not having enough lands, they were mana screwed by not having the right colour. See, had this one here, although they had 3 mana, they didn't have any red mana. When it dies, deals 3 damage to target creature or player. It's quite a fun little card. Right, it combos well with this because you can sacrifice it to this guy to buff him up and deal damage to an opponent. Tasty. But this is a 6/6 and it's only going to get bigger. And we can attack with our creatures. Now he could do some fancy tech stuff, but he couldn't kill both of the things if he does, and he'll have to trade both of his guys to do it. Boom. Put on the pressure on these boggarts. Sacrificing it to pump this guy up, and then he's probably going to block the 2/3, right? Yeah. That's okay. Again, we're maintaining our board presence here. Making sure that the opponent doesn't have a lot in play. What's this guy? Hornet's Harasser. When it dies, target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. That's fairly potent. Quite expensive though, 4 mana for that. Another potential sacrifice target here. Okay, let's see what we draw. The Gladeheart. Well, we should play this first, because when we play the forest, then we'll gain 2 life. You should always play your landfall creatures before you drop the land, obviously. And then we can play our Wild Heart Invoker. And hopefully next time we draw a land, we'll be able to go in hard. Okay, and we can attack. We could attack with both creatures. This thing would die, but if this thing dies, then the 8/8 gets through. But let's go in. Again, we can be aggressive here. Deciding just to chump block. Oh, he's going to kill our Gladeheart. Okay, that's fine. Makes this a 3/3 because he can sacrifice it. Doesn't need to actually block this necessarily, because he's already considered as a blocker. Sacrifice a goblin. Tar Pitcher did. So basically what he did is, after it blocked, but before it went to the graveyard, he sacrificed it to this guy, dealt the -2/-2 to our Gladeheart. Some good goblin tech there. Sacrifice a goblin to deal 2 damage, so this guy just throws goblins at dudes, I guess. Interesting mechanic. Oh, here we go. So here, now we've got the trample. This is exactly what we want. Make this guy big and stompy. 14/14 with trample. So even if he blocks it, he can block it for 2 and 3. Could even pump this one up, but it's not going to stop all the rest of the damage getting through. Confirm attack. This might just do it. So 13 is going to get through from this guy. Oh, he's going to block it. So 11 will get through from this guy. And 1 from there, leaving him on 3, but with no creatures. Goblin Fire Slinger deals 1 damage, so you can ping players with it. But only the player. And you have to tap, so he can't do it this turn. Well, this is rather delightful for us. Look at that. Boom. Now it's a 10/10. Make it a 15/15. As only we know how. Yeah. Say that, you boggarts. You can't stand up to our dolorous or dauntless Dower Bark. Boom. Crushed him. Absolutely crushed him. That's some classic green play there from Nissa. Okay. To your horror, the hunting party massacres a group of boggarts. You're appalled at the murder of these innocent creatures. Well, they claim they were a threat, but they don't appear to be. They're just hunting them. Dwynen claims that the boggart's hideousness is reason enough for the slaughter. You will not abide such evil. Oh, they're just killing them because they don't like them being around. You intervene on the boggart's behalf, and Dwynen and her elves quickly turn on you. As they chase you through the woods, you feel a connection to this new land falling. You call on your elemental powers and your skills as a Uraga warrior. The elves don't know what they're in for. Yeah. Damn it, you elves. This is not the proper way to act. Nature is sacred. Okay, we got a 2, a 3, a 4, and 4 lands. That's pretty okay. We got Battle Wand Oak. So whenever you play a forest or a tree folk, it gets +2/+2. Good synergy. So we're transitioning away from the elves a little bit and into tree folk, using our love of nature. Oh, so these are the troublesome. These are the blight elves, as they're often known, the black and green elves. Nothing but trouble. They don't respect the land. They just think they're superior. You can see the green, obviously a love of nature, but then the black shining through of kind of this feeling of superiority and dominance. Scarred Vine Breeder, exile elves to pump it up for the turn. I used to play some black-green elves for a while. So it's a fun setup, for sure. But perhaps a little morally reprehensible at times. I suppose it depends how you look at it. From Black's perspective, again, it's that black love of the individual, sacrificing others for the good of a dominant power. The Civic Wayfinder. So here's some green ramp. You get to find a land and put it into your hand. We'll probably see what that is. I think it did say reveal it. Whoop. It's a swamp. Interesting they chose a swamp. And they've only got one forest out in play. But hey, who am I to judge? We could attack with this 2/3. We'd have to block with both cards to kill it. Will we trade our 2/2 for a 2/3? Sure, we'll give it a try. He might just decide not to block. Nope, definitely blocking with both. I think... I think we want to kill the 2/2 rather than the 1/1. Even though he can pump this one up later. The reason we dealt the damage here first is because 2 goes to this, and then we have no damage left to deal to the Vine Breeder. If we'd gone the other way, this thing would still have been alive. But that's fine. Ooh, is an Elf Lord. Imperious Perfect. So one of the cards my friend used to use. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. And it can create elf tokens. Elf warriors, no less. Some good synergy here. Boom. And we played a forest, so therefore this thing's a 3/5. Now we could play Nissa's Pilgrimage. We'd have only 1 mana left. I think what we might do here is play Wild Instinct. Because with Nissa's Pilgrimage, you're not going to be able to do anything else. This guy will be super big. He'll be a 5/7. But I don't necessarily know that that is the way we want to go with things. I kind of want to fight that Elf Warrior and get rid of it. Because this is still going to buff this up by 2/2. So it will still be a 5/7. But we also get to kill this damn Imperious Perfect. And then we can attack. Doesn't have the mana to pump up his Scarred Vine Breeder. So you can choose to block with it if he wants to not take 5. You want to do that, elves? Yeah, that's what I thought. You take 5 to the face. Sadly, this thing goes back to being a 1/3 then, which is kind of its weakness. It's weak on our turn. Although, sometimes we might be able to play a Tree Folk instant. I'm going to take 1 damage. Interesting that they attacked. Hunter of Eye Blights. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you don't control. Destroy target creature with a counter on it. Oh, that's interesting. He's going to put a counter on this and it'll make us stronger, but then he'll be able to kill it next turn. Unless we can get rid of this Hunter of Eye Blights, in which case the buff will be real helpful to us. Sadly, don't have a good way to do that. Sadly, we can't play the Gladeheart and the Pilgrimage this turn, which I'd love to do. So maybe we'll just play the Invoker and a Forest. And then next turn we can play both of these cards. Feels pretty good. Got a 4/6. Might as well attack with this 4/6. It's probably going to die next turn. But we can get 4 damage in, or we can kill this. And if we kill this, well then, that'll solve our problem anyway. This is where I kind of like the more tactical play of Magic, where you can't just kill off people's creatures instantly for guarantee. Like you have to have specific removal spells to do so. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a... Okay, so there's more land draw. They're trying to ramp up, but they've not really had the cards for it. They're still only at 5 mana, which is the same as us. Okay. Deciding not to attack. Also deciding not to use this this thing, but I suppose they can use it. It's got the mana. He can use it whenever now. So he can use it when we attack. Okay, so we'll play the Gladeheart before we play our lands, of course. Then we play a land, gain us some health back. Then we can afford Nissa's Pilgrimage. That lets us put one there, put one in our hand. Boom. We gain some more land. Our guy gets even bigger. The problem is, as soon as we attack with him, he's going to get taken out by this Hunter of Eye Blights. Now if we attack with this 4/3, what he can do is block this, deal 3 damage to it, and then, or block this, and when it's blocking, tap this, kill the 6/8. So we probably don't want to attack with our 4/3, but we should attack with the 6/8, because he can kill it at the end of turn anyway. And he'll probably just kill it here. Yep, there we go, tapping, spending the mana, slash, and it's gone. Which is a shame. But never mind. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, and then they're swimming back in at us now. Now we can block this one, but remember it can pump up. I think we just take the damage. Even though it might be 6 damage here. Oh, the Hunter of Eye Blights. Actually, it would have been interesting to not attack with this thing, because it could have... This thing can't... it's got summoning sickness until next turn anyway. Boom, the Baloth Woodcrasher. That's going to be pretty tasty for us. And we can attack with our 3/3, because at best, like, he kills the 1/1. And maybe it even kills the Hunter of Eye Blights. Getting our health benefit, of course. Boom, pumps us up to an 8/8. That's not actually going to matter. Now we could also use this 4/3 on the grounds that if he trades into it, then the 3/3 won't die. It's not too bad, but we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got the mana to Wild Heart Invoker, so maybe we should wait, because we can just invoke next turn. So we don't really want to use this when we can get that big trample next turn. Surely better to get full value out of our super card. They're just going to block this, and we go. We kind of kill this for free instead of dealing 3 damage. Might well be worth it for the opponent. They're going to attack. Swinging in with the 1/1. Can pump it up. How many times can he do this? Could theoretically do it twice. So I think we're going to take this, because however much damage it is, it's not going to kill us. And it will kill one of our creatures if we let it pump up. Okay. Play a forest to pump this guy up. Now he's already an 8/8 with trample. So I guess maybe we give this guy, can do it to himself. Gives himself trample. So we've got a 9/8 with trample and an 8/8 with trample. And they can block. Well, he'll be able to kill this for free. He can block 6 damage. And we've got 17 going through. 17 minus the 6 he can block is 11. So unless there's any tech here, this should win us the game. Oh, there's some tech. Oh, destroy target non-elf. Damn it. Who's he targeting? The 8/8 with trample. Okay. That makes some sense. Gonna block this. Gonna tap to kill this thing. Still gonna get beefed in the face. Unfortunately we got tech there, but that's fine. Again, making sure the opponent can't deal lethal. If the opponent could have dealt lethal back to us, then it wouldn't have been wise to attack with everything. But even pumping up here is not going to deal fatal damage to us. Ooh. Elvish Promenade. Going to put 2 elves on the board. They'll be good blockers, but they won't be good enough to stop this trample. That's for sure. Because we've got a 9/8 trample and it's 9 damage. 7 of it will get through. So unless there's a 1 mana tech card here that we deal damage to the warrior, 1, 2, and then 7 through. Boom! And we've defeated the Dwynen. Take that. Think you could help those boggarts. I think you can hunt the boggarts just because they don't like the way they look. Where? Save us! Ah! Where is she? Hunt her down. No, I am too strong. Come with me, boggarts. Uh-oh. Oh no, they're being grabbed by the tree folk. Oh, the missile drop kick. Look out, Nissa. Nice. Oh, she's fighting with a stick. A real strong stick. Oh, she got cut. Get away from me. I am a planeswalker. She's just twatting him in the face. Oh. Oh no, the boggarts are scared. Because she's being aggressive. She realises she's no better than the Dwynen. She leaves them be. Hope you've learnt a lesson. I'm going to walk up this tree. Aha! She's using nature for good, not for evil. Good old Nissa. +1/+1 counter on creatures you control. Great stuff. There are many places you can go now that you're a planeswalker. But the memory of the ancient horror that slumbers on your home plane haunts you. It's time to return to Zendikar and prepare for what is to come. And this is going to go back and face the Eldrazi, I guess. Okay, and there we go. There's Nissa's story. Fantastic. That's her origins as a planeswalker. And we can pop into the store now. And we have enough for a pack, it looks like. Let's grab a pack. Sure. Purchase successful. Fantastic. Unwrap it. Might of the Masses. +1/+1 for each creature you control. Seems pretty reasonable. We got Nissa. Oh, that's appropriate. There we go. So, take a look at her. She's a legendary creature, an elf scout. When she enters the battlefield, you can play a forest, or you can find a forest and put it in your hand. Then when you play a land, as long as you have 7 or more, which we had most of those games, then she's exiled and returns to the battlefield. And she comes back. How do we see the back of her? Double face cards. Maybe we have to look at her in the... maybe we'll have to look at her in the actual collection. Seeing as it doesn't seem to show up here. Okay. Green. Boom. Nissa. Where are you, girl? Nissa, Vastwood Seer. I want to look at you. There we go. I found it. Okay, so now when she's exiled and returns under her owner's control, she comes back as the Planeswalker Nissa, Sage Animist. She's got 3 loyalty, as they call it, which is basically their health. It's also their cost. Although actually it's not really, because they this is played for free. So it's not really the same thing. But you play her for 3, and then when she transforms, she turns into this 3 loyalty thing, and you can do 1 action a turn. You can add a loyalty to reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you play it, and if it's not, you put it in your hand. So you're always drawing a card, but if it's a land, you can play it for free. And that doesn't count towards your 1 land a turn. What's this? We can foil it up, can we? Foil all copies of this card for 5 coins. That's not too bad. That's actually fairly reasonable. Play a legendary 4/4 for -2 loyalty. You can play Ayasha the Awoken. Now it's legendary, so you'll only be able to play 1 at a time. But you can play a 4/4, and when it dies, she can just play another one the next turn. And then her ultimate ability, if she gets up to 7 loyalty or more, you can remove 7. And remember, if she's at 7 and you remove 7, then she'll die because she'll have no loyalty left. But or she'll leave, I guess. If you have 8, then you can play this and she'll still be alive. Untap up to 6 target lands. They become 6/6 elemental creatures. So you remember that creature we saw that turned into a 2/2 flyer? Well, now you can turn your lands into 6/6s. And 6/6/6s, as well as being a lot of 6s, is a lot of damage. So you can use that to block and kill a load of attackers. In fact, no, you can't, because you can't do it. Oh, wait, it doesn't say until end of turn. So you can just do it in your turn, and then suddenly you've got 6/6/6s. And you can tap them if you want for mana, or you can use them to batter the enemy's face in. That's pretty fantastic. And yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of the episode, I think, though. That was Nissa's story, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. If you did have a good time, be sure to pop that like button, subscribe to the channel for more Magic Duels Origins, where we'll get into the last story of Liliana Vess, the Black Planeswalker, and we'll look at her next time. So subscribe to the channel for that, or come back whenever. Plenty of other games too as well, of course, so be sure to check those out. I've been Ken. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Cheers!